This is KGW News at noon.
And thanks for joining us today. I'm Brenda Braxton. Here are some of your local headlines this afternoon. Police have identified the victim of a deadly shooting outside a Portland hotel. Police say 22-year-old Sir Charles Mark Anthony Jones was working as a security guard when he was shot last week. Officers found Jones dead in a car near the Residence Inn at River Place. Investigators have confirmed his death was a homicide. So far, no word on any suspects. The Washington Supreme Court has upheld a state law saying drivers high on marijuana can be cited for DUI. All 9 justices rejected an Everett man's challenge, claiming the law was unconstitutional. He alleged the voter pass measure used arbitrary and vague standards to measure THC. Well, primary election results could be delayed in Clackamas County next week. The problem is defective barcodes on 2/3 of the ballots that voters have returned so far. Machines can't read them, so workers will have to record them by hand. It is a slow process that's going to cost the county time and money. Officials say there have been glitches from time to time in the past, but nothing on this scale. And Oregon recently banned homebuyer love letters, but a federal judge just overturned that ban. Potential buyers write these letters to impress home sellers. State lawmakers passed the ban last year because of the potential for discrimination. The Oregon Real Estate Agency does not plan to appeal that ruling. And those are some of your local headlines on this Friday. The weather also making some headlines of its own. Rod, it continues to be unseasonably cold for May. Some places even seeing frost this morning.
Yeah, not unusual getting into the month of May that we have a couple spotty areas like Hillsborough, for example, getting down to 32. But the longer we get into May, now looking at the 13th day, it becomes increasingly unusual. So Hillsborough at the airport, there was the one spot on this map that did get down to 32 degrees. But to understand, when we show you temperatures on a weather map, these are absolutely site-specific numbers. So could it have been 30 just 5 minutes away from where that airport location is? Absolutely. We had reports of patchy frost in southeast Portland. We had reports of some light frost in Tigert this morning. Salem, McNary Field got down to 36 degrees. The Dow's 38. I know Hood River was at least down to 36 in the valley there at one moment as well. So, chilly start. Clouds have moved in. I'm sure you've noticed that. The clouds are coming in with a push of warmer air, and we will be looking at warmer nights and warmer afternoons once we get into the weekend. Here's that surge of moisture. Now, so far, we're dry. Even Newport, the site I checked, is now reporting still dry weather, so this is not reaching the ground yet. But it's good evidence the cloud deck that the radar is shooting up into is getting thicker and lower. So here we are at 4 p.m. That's when we'll start to look for some rain coming in from the west and from the southwest here into Portland, perhaps earlier than that down in Salem. If you have plans this evening, here we are at 9 p.m. Absolutely expect a rainy Friday evening and a rainy Friday night. 54 now. Maybe we get up to 60 before the first raindrops start to cool us off a little bit. There's a steady rain in 55 at 8 o'clock. The weekend doesn't look that bad. I guarantee you it looks better than it looks if you just stare at the icons on your phone.
Okay.
That's coming up.
I like that. Something to look forward to. Thank you, Rod. New today, Vancouver's waterfront is getting a makeover, and we have an update because demolition crews took down the former home of Joe's Crab Shack. This is on the east side of the Interstate Bridge. When this development is complete, it'll have 230 apartments and retail space. Well, a Portland family says it's one step closer to justice. Police arrested a man accused of attacking their loved one so viciously that he later died. Alma McCarty has a message from the teen's mother, sister, and aunt.
The family was relieved to get the news that a suspect had been arrested in this case. They're hoping he stays in jail and doesn't have a chance to hurt anyone else. 19-year-old Clyde Hunt was attacked in early April. He spent about 3 weeks in the hospital fighting to survive, but his injuries were too severe and he later died. His family is devastated that he didn't get to grow up and have children of his own, but they're clinging to the good memories.
He, 'Always stuck up for his brother and his sister that have special needs. very outgoing. When he was giggling, everybody started giggling. It was just one of those type of kids that got everybody, made everybody smile. See, she's smiling already.
Hunt was found in the parking lot of the Evergreen Inn on Northeast 82nd Avenue. His family admits he got into trouble occasionally, but they don't know what would have led to the attack. Yesterday, police arrested 25-year-old Jakari Walker for the murder. Court documents say the suspect used a weapon to beat Hunt in the head and that the attack was unprovoked. Walker remains in jail.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Vandals hit a Northeast Portland nonprofit that's already dealing with crime, drugs, homelessness in its neighborhood. We talked to the staff at the Mother and Child Education Center in the Hollywood district. They say they discovered human waste all over their property this week, and they had to cancel appointments to clean it up. A few days later, somebody ripped out their Ring camera, broke a porch light, and a man in crisis refused to leave for 4 hours. Conditions are so unpredictable, the nonprofit now locks its front doors.
We've had moms come up when someone's coming up with a mental health crisis. When I have young staff coming to work, having to crawl over people that are on the thing, that there's alcohol everywhere, there's needles outside, it's not safe for my staff to come.
Staffers say police do run extra patrols in the area and have even trained them to de-escalate less dangerous situations. But beyond that, they're afraid there's no real solution to their problems. They hope the public will stay vigilant around their property and even donate money so they can continue their mission to help families. Well, this next story takes a look at Portland's homeless crisis from the perspective of two families facing eviction. Blair Best talked to them as they deal with this crisis head on.
Being told that, we're going to have to be out and have nowhere to go.
Lisa Antich and her family have lived in this home in Southeast Portland for about 10 years. Out of the blue, their landlord sold it to an out-of-state buyer.
It was heart-wrenching. My biggest fear is we're going to end up sleeping in my car. And how am I going to tell my child that? That's my biggest fear.
The family lives on $1,000 a month between money she gets for her disability and retirement.
It's hard. It's hard, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it, and everything's a waiting list.
And they don't have time to wait.
We're out of days. We're on borrowed time. I was supposed to be out since the 30th of last month.
She can't find an apartment in her budget and has had no luck getting a housing voucher.
A lot of them wouldn't even help us until we're in the car. Yeah. And then a lot of them won't help us because I'm not addicted to drugs and I don't drink alcohol.
She's afraid of what life on the streets would be like.
I am terrified. I'm terrified. My uncle was just killed on 136th, walking down the street. It was on the news just like a couple weeks ago.
Their plan? To sleep in the car, since a motel room is too expensive.
Well, first of all, that should never happen. Families and their kids should always have alternatives and affordable rents, and no family should be forced to live in homelessness with their child.
That's the director of Portland's Housing Bureau.
But no kid should be living in a car or on the street.
I'm trapped. I can't afford to move, and then I don't have the credit to move.
In Salem is another side of this crisis. Kathleen Quinn is disabled and lives on a fixed income of $850 a month. She's been at this apartment for about 6 years, and it's been one issue after another.
And I've been telling them how hard it is for me to breathe in here.
Black mold coats her walls and windows, is under her sink and bedroom carpet, and all over her clothes.
My carpet, my furniture, my Birkenstocks, everything.
The septic tank floods into her apartment.
But trying to live in this, it's been horrifying. 15, 20 boxes.
Moving boxes fill her living room.
So I think I have enough.
She's preparing to move, even though she has nowhere to go.
So this is the bathroom, and the water heater's in there that flooded.
And in the bedroom,
this whole window had to be taken out, and it was super full of mold. Yeah. That's inhumane. It's inhumane to expect people to live in such high levels of mold and ignore them. And
just like Lisa, she's tried calling people for help, but gets nowhere.
We don't know where we're going to go. We don't know what we're going to do. We don't know where we're going to be.
We'll definitely let you know how they fare. That was Blair Best reporting for us.